Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session of NutriLiv 360. Did you know our body has a main clock and multiple other individual clocks? Our lifestyle directly impacts these clocks. We will be understanding what a NEAT index is. Let's listen to the experts on how NEAT and understanding our body clock can help us improve our health span. To start the session, it is my honor and privilege to invite Farooq Tarapur. He, ladies and gentlemen, is an Olympian, two-time world champion in sailing, and has had an active sporting career of 40 years. He's won innumerable awards, including the Chhatrapati Shivaji Award and the Arjuna Award. But most importantly, he's a mentor to each and every one of us on the group with the mission Har Ghar Healthy, Har Ghar Medicine Free. Let's listen to him very, very carefully. And over to you, Farooq.
Thank you, Ruchita. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this exciting session on Friday. The last few days, I'm sure everybody's been enjoying festive season. You have put your bodies into great amount of danger, eaten the wrong things, and not done exercises. So I really recommend that whether you're new in this program, new in this community, or old in this community, I really recommend that you should, do a proper gut reset for the next few days to ensure that you get your gut microbiome in the right balance. Eating the wrong things and not doing exercise is a lethal combination for bad health. So I hope you take this advice sincerely. And, it's not only eating the wrong things, but eating it at the wrong times. And today we're going to be talking a lot about that. And nobody better than Veda to talk to you about it, because she was, in the corporate field at a very, very high level, extremely busy. So timing was never her priority as far as food was concerned. And once she came into this community and realized that how critical, this entire timing is all about and how important it is for her health, she managed to transform her health dramatically. And she made a 180-degree turnaround. So listen to Veda very carefully, because what she has to say will have a significant impact on your overall health. Over to you, Veda.
Thank you, Farooq. And so rightly said, after all the festivities and, the eating all the sweets and Farah, at least for the Maharashtrians, and I'm sure now everyone has adopted every culture, we have kind of, done a lot of bad to our own bodies. So it's time to remember, and that's a great idea to do a gut reset. In case you don't know what a gut reset is, if you have missed out on the gut health session, I would request Ruchita to probably share the YouTube, link of our YouTube wherever we upload all the recordings, or even speak. If you can speak to the person who has invited you on how to do your gut reset, it will really transform your health, how you're feeling. You'll feel much more light after all the fried food or after all the mithai. Okay, let's come to the topic of how different lifestyle aspects impact our body clock. Again, we've done a session earlier on body clock, on circadian rhythm. If you've missed it, body clock is basically our body adheres to a certain sleep-wake cycle, certain function cycle. Full time to functioning nahi hai. And that is aligned basically to the day and night cycle, जो हम देखते हैं, जो sunrise sunset वाला cycle. It is actually aligned. Now, with respect to जो हम करते हैं उठने के बाद या सोने तक, whatever activities we do at different times, depending on the timing, depending on type of activity, etc., it impacts the body clock, and hence the functioning doesn't happen. And that's what we will look at. And through this whole aspect, we will also learn about something that is called NEAT. Okay. Okay, so what are the different lifestyles that we're going to look at? First and foremost, which is physical activity, because that is extremely low. शायद ये time Diwali cleaning में some of you may have done the cleaning yourself, but now most of us either delegate to the maids or we would have probably called Urban Clap or some other person to do the cleaning. Okay, so that physical activity has kind of is one aspect. Then you have sleep. So the best part of this program is we do not just focus on one aspect, we are actually covering all of this. Physical activity, your sleep, your food, what kind of food, what time you're eating, late night snacking is one aspect, screen time, the blue rays, your stress. So these are the main things that we will cover. There could be other smaller things, but by and large, this is what impacts our body clock. फिजिकल एक्टिविटी और इसी में हम नीट भी कवर करेंगे बिकॉज इट इज कोरिलेटेड ओके नाउ what impacts our body clock? As I said, body clock matlab kya? You have the main clock, which is your brain, okay? But all your organs also have their individual clocks. यानी हर एक organ का एक routine है, which is aligned again as per your day-night cycles, but triggered by your brain. Now there are three aspects जो एक बॉडी क्लॉक को इम्पैक्ट करती है वन इज लाइट सेकेंड इज डाइट एंड द थर्ड वन इज एक्सरसाइज ओके जब when these are given together your exercise your movement basically and light is given it first impacts your gives your signal to the main clock which is your brain right this is your main clock now what the main clock does through the light impact or through the activity, and here we're talking about physical activity, right? Because of that physical activity, it impacts your sleep wake cycle. अगर आप ज़्यादा physical activity late night करेंगे, depending on that, there will be a certain rhythm. What will happen, right? If there is light falling, your sleep hormones will not get triggered. You will not get good sleep in the night. Or even if you get sleep, it will be disturbed or it will be delayed. It also regulates your temperature. In turn, जो आप activity करते हो, the main clock then triggers your individual clocks, which is your heart, your lungs, your liver, kidneys, and your muscular system, right? So all of this is related. Now, with respect to physical activity, हुआ क्या है? Earlier, there used to be a huge amount of, earlier मतलब जब मैं बोल रही हूँ, a lot of years ahead, even if you forget the olden Stone Age and all of that, but even 125 years earlier, when industrialization had just started, we still had activity of about 8 to 10 hours a day. But because of the digital age, which is a boon as well, because everything is automated, everything is much more convenient. But unfortunately, the bane is that it has impacted our activity. Everything is remote controlled. Everything is over this, system, this phone, right? If this wasn't there today, the other day, my elder daughter's, SIM just suddenly disconnected. She was completely helpless because everything is in our phone. What would have happened in the olden days is we would have had cash and we could still be able to manage, go around, walk around, go and book tickets. Now people are all dependent on the phone. And hence the average activity, we're not even talking about exercise. Exercise को दूर की बात है. ये हम बोल रहे हैं physical activity. Our activity per day is just 25 minutes of activity per day on an average. Okay. Since the last 20 plus years. What is NEAT? Are we doing this movement? ये जो movement कर रहे हैं. Unfortunately, an estimated 60 crore adults across the world are obese. Amongst them, 10 crore are actually children. And in India, we have the maximum population of youth, right? 1 out of 4 people are obese now. Obesity, unfortunately, yes, there are two aspects to it. We don't need to laugh at it, but we need to be scared about obesity. Okay, you cannot just tell, okay, I'm obese, I can't do anything about it. We can do something, and that's what we are helping people here, right? These statistics are glaring. Unfortunately, because of obesity, then you tend to get a lot of other lifestyle diseases, right? Diseases. Now, NEAT kya hai? Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, that is called NEAT. नीट वॉज नॉट अ कॉन्सेप्ट अर्लियर. ये जो 10,000 स्टेप्स जो अभी सब लोग कर रहे हैं, अनफॉर्चुनेटली पीपल आर थिंकिंग कि 10,000 स्टेप्स करके इट्स फाइन. That is the bare minimum. That is called your need, your movement. Okay, that cannot be counted as exercise. You need to be doing some exercise additional. So NEAT is basically your where you're expending calories through movement, through physical activity. It focuses on increasing your low level daily physical activities. Includes every activity, anything like just probably even standing up instead of sitting, right? Cooking, you're drying your clothes. Yes, now we have delegated almost every aspect of activity, right? Doing your daily chores, taking the stairs instead of the lift, gardening. These are examples of NEAT. Now, how does NEAT actually impact your weight? Okay, जो हम calories लेते हैं, that whatever food we intake, that is your that is certain calories in. How does it go out? It is not just by your bodily functions. Your जो BMR है, which is your basal metabolic rate, which is basically अगर आपने कुछ भी नहीं किया, कुछ खाया नहीं, कुछ पिया, कुछ movement नहीं किया, कुछ exercise नहीं किया, तो 70% आपका कैलोरी जाने ही वाला है. Okay? 70% of your total expenditure. Now, suppose you have like 100 calories taken in, 70 calories will go, approximately 70 calories will go because of your BMR. Again, this is varying. कुछ लोगों का BMR काफी कम रहता है. My BMR is much lower. Women will have a slightly lower BMR than men. When your weight is also higher, your height is higher, a lot of factors come into picture. If your activity is not very high, your BMR is low. So don't take it that everyone's is 70%. ठीक है? So 70%, 70 calories suppose उसमें जाता है. What you means eat is exercise. Exercise से 5% जाता है. TEF is thermic effect of food. जो आप खाना खाते हो, अलग अलग food. Suppose you're eating just carbs, then hardly anything will go. But if you're eating, say, for example, protein, which takes longer to digest, which gives out more energy, then your thermic effect, जो calories जाएगा, that increases. NEAT contributes to 15%. So those 10,000 steps or movement is very, very important. 15% of your calories out comes from NEAT. That doesn't mean कि exercise जरूरी नहीं है. Exercise जरूरी है for your cardiovascular fitness, for your flexibility, for your strength, right? So all of it has a part. But then the problem is today we're not even doing this. That is the issue. Some people are probably doing exercise and then sitting down and eating and not doing any movement after that. Movement is very, very important. NEAT. So what are the different? This is again something which is kind of something that will give you an idea. When पुराने जमाने में mostly our forefathers used to be involved in agriculture. इसीलिए जब वो खाते थे उनका you would see none of the farmers would have a pot belly, right? They would be fit and lean because agriculture expenditure of calories is really high just by doing farming activities. Standing work, a homemaker or a shop assistant, if they're standing throughout the day, not about those who are sitting at the cash counter, but the ones who are standing and serving and all of them, they also expend almost about 1600 to 1700 calories. Seated work is hardly about 1000 calories. It's again chair bound is lesser than 500. Okay, discretion and required to move. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea कि हम कितना calories expend करते हैं with different movement. Now, how can you increase this? One is increase your daily steps gradually to 10,000 plus steps. Okay, you can do more, but again, as Farooq always says, don't do too less and don't do too much because you don't want to hurt yourself. Either ways, you're hurting yourself, right? Self-charting. Self-charting matlab more of climbing stairs. Even if you can't climb all the flights to your floor, try to take two flights or three flights probably. Three floors ka straight stairs. get a standing desk so that you're alternating. If you are in IT especially and you're working from home all the time, where you're not really moving around and connecting. Even when I was in office, मैं जाती तो थी office में. I used to but be sitting in my cabin the whole day, literally 8, 9, 10 hours. I was to be just sitting on calls. That doesn't help, right? Get probably while taking your calls, put on your earphones so that everyone is not disturbed, but walk while taking your calls if you don't need to see the screen, right? That's one thing. Then find substitutes for sedentary. So for example, wherever Farooq again says this, where if you can sit instead of sleeping, sit. If you can stand instead of sitting, stand. If you can move instead of just standing, move. Okay, bring changes gradually to increase the standing time to up to 2.5 hours. Now, okay, there are other extreme ends also. Now, people think standing throughout the 8 hours is fine. Suppose you're in a digital desk job, right? Without moving, no. That is also against training your legs, because standing for too long will also, so you need to alternate, you need to move, you need to stretch your legs, or just bend them and all of that. Wash your car, carry your groceries, all of these. Now, what is the benefit of daytime physical activity rather than nighttime? Because nighttime is when your body needs your rest. So, if you're exercising in the night, it's not going to be helpful. You need to have some daytime physical activity, and the best time to just do a brisk walk is after every meal. Yes, you can absolutely do a brisk walk after every meal. Nothing, you're not going to throw up. You're not going to have any issues with your digestion. In fact, it will improve. Your sugar will be stable. Now, what happens when you have some physical activity in the morning, right? Your central nervous system, your, it is, it kind of strengthens the male clock. Your motor activity triggers, the coordination between your brain and your other internal clocks. Okay. Outdoor activity increases exposure to natural bright light. As much as possible, try to walk. Again, something that I've learned from this program from Farooq. Instead of walking in a treadmill, if you have a choice, walk outside, because you will also gain that increased calories expenditure due to inertia through wind, etc. You're actually pushing against the wind, right? Or air. Timely exercise improves balance of daily rhythm, helps better balance of temperature, and regular activity may also help you maintain your food regime as long as you do it at the right time, right? Okay. Now we move to the second lifestyle aspect, which is sleep. We think that sleeping late will probably, or later, may not impact us, or may impact us for a few days and all. Let's see कि क्या क्या impact होता है. Now, as per the circadian rhythm, when there is daytime, when there is light, okay. Now, as per the body clock, it is actually aligned with your sunrise sunset. Now, unfortunately, we have light all over. So even if you're switching on your lights in your room or you're seeing your mobile, it is as good as your body thinks that, okay, there is still light, mujhe sona nahi hai. And hence, pineal gland does not secrete your melatonin. Melatonin is your sleep hormone, right? If that is not going to get secreted, you will not get sleep. What happens in the night? As soon as it becomes dark, the signal has gone from your SCN to the pineal gland to start secreting melatonin. Okay, and that slowly puts your whole body to rest, and that's how you go to sleep. So as long as we are scrolling on our phones, trust me, and this is something that I tell myself as well, scrolling may make us tired, may make our eyes weary, but that it does not mean that you're going to get a good night's sleep. You need to be able to cut off from your blue screens at least half an hour, if not 1 hour, at least half an hour before sleeping. Okay. Try and listen to some music. Okay, what is the health impact for sleep disturbance? Delayed sleep wake cycles or irregular. Like if you're actually waking up in the night again and again, or you're sleeping late one day, sleeping early the next day, all of that, jet lag, shift work, all of these irregular sleep wake cycles will lead to, in the long term, when you're younger, you may not realize it. और बच्चे खुद डेफिनेटली हमें बोलते हैं कि कुछ नहीं होता है, वी आर स्टिल एक्टिव एंड ऑल, एंड देयर मेनी किड्स हु स्लीप ओनली बाय 2 or 3 a.m. right? Even us old people, for old people it is even more harmful, but for youngsters they don't realize it at that time, right? But prolonged delayed sleep cycle will increase fatigue, will have mood fluctuations. You will see them suddenly bursting out, where they're not able to control their emotions, decrease mental capabilities, metabolic disorders. This can, even if you're eating, okay, even if you're eating the right food, but you're not sleeping on time, you're not giving your body rest, it can lead to hormonal imbalances and hence obesity as well. Low performances, it will definitely lead to your gut issues, gastrointestinal issues, and lower alertness. Uh, Third aspect is food. Food में of course there are two aspects: what you're eating. हम वो detail में नहीं जाएंगे, but definitely something that is very very important, which is going to impact your body clock, is your caffeine consumption. What does caffeine consumption do? Delayed onset of sleep increases. Unfortunately, most of us think that coffee or caffeine will reduce our headaches. I've seen that many times, and I myself done that when I used to work a lot. सर दर्द हो रहा है, कॉफी पी लो. Unfortunately, it actually increases your anxiety and it's not really helping. Disturbs your body clock, also increases heartburn. I experienced this around 3 months back, where again, I wouldn't say my coffee consumption was very, very high, but due to multiple factors, I had increased acidity. And what I just did was two things, of course: increase my fiber intake and just stopped my coffee. And I was surprised that I could live without coffee, literally. And I used to think that I have to, and I used to drink a lot of black coffee. I would say around 3 glasses of black coffee or something. This disappeared. My acid reflux, acidity, heartburn, all of that disappeared. Now, in fact, there is a study that has been done. Okay. Now, this is something which is very, very important, friends. हमें लगता है कि रात को कॉफी नहीं पिएंगे, चलो शाम शाम को पिएंगे, it'll be still fine. But look at this. 2 cups of coffee, okay, is 400 milligrams of caffeine. Caffeine right before sleep, decrease sleep duration by an hour. You're reducing that duration. Even when caffeine was taken 3 or 6 hours before bed, sleep duration was decreased by an hour. मतलब आप, if you look at this graph, right? Caffeine zero hours before, sorry, 1 second. Caffeine taken, this white bar is caffeine taken 0 hours before sleep. This is 3 hours before sleep, the gray one, and the black one is 6 hours before sleep, right? All three of them have seen that your hours of sleep have reduced. Only when it was taken almost 8 hours before sleep there was no impact of caffeine on the sleep quality and duration. Okay, 6 hours, even when take. So 8 hours. So definitely, please avoid taking evening or afternoon coffee. हम इतना पीते हैं because क्यों? खाना खाने के बाद नींद आती है, काम कैसे करेंगे? अगर ढंग का खाना खाएंगे और थोड़ा एक वॉक लेंगे तो नींद नहीं आएगी, और टाइम पे खाएंगे तो ठीक है. ओके, so how to reduce? Switch to decaf. Limit your consumption. Timing, definitely timing makes a huge difference. Drink a lot of water because that reduces your craving also. And this is proven. If you drink a lot of water, drink some coconut water. I keep saying nowadays, drink coconut water. Healthy snacks and beverages. There's nothing like a healthy snack or a beverage. We discourage snacking. 3 meals are more than enough. You check your labels for caffeine content, and then you can always try your. There is someone, and instead of a tea, it is basically your kava types, right? Jaha tulsi and say mulethi or something, just a dip. Those things you can still have if you're feeling like, okay, if your mind needs it, right? Okay. Now the fourth aspect is stress. We know, okay, what happens is Light triggers your main clock, right? But chronic stress impacts all your organ clocks, not just your main clocks. It actually stress impacts your organs or your inner clocks. Okay, which increases your corticosterone. It generates that, triggers it. Your other systems, they mask it, and then what happens is it gets your main clock and your organ clocks have a mismatch, and that's how the desynchronization happens, and that impacts your physiological and your behavioral rhythms. Okay, and that's the your what do you say, your stress response, right, that the body generates. Unfortunately, stress is a given. Everyone goes through stress, different types of stress. एक को काम का है, एक को पैसे का है, एक को हेल्थ का है, एक को फैमिली का है, एक को इमोशनल सपोर्ट. Everyone goes through some kind of a stress. We have to understand the triggers of stress. We have to understand how everyone actually has different stress coping mechanisms. It will take you time to understand some of these things here can definitely help you. Exercise. Now, unfortunately, there is no substitute to exercise. Even a brisk walk can help you reduce your stress. Take breaks between your work if your work is stressing you out. Engage in hobbies. Have something small, whatever little bit it can be. You can even probably, redecor without spending money. You can redecor your room, for example. Practice deep breathing. This helps tremendously. Now, the only thing is at that point of time, it is difficult to remind yourself ki bhai, calm down and breathe. But if you can remind yourself, breathing in and breathing out with your breathing in with your nose, breathing out with your mouth, there are multiple types that you can do. Not something which is again strenuous and hard to do, something that is calming. You can do that. Get enough sleep. Unfortunately, there is no substitute to sleep and rest. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness can be practiced in many ways. Again, we won't be going through that in detail in this session, but you can find out and eat healthily, right? Now, the fifth aspect, again, which is important, I'm sure right now many of us were even more on the phone, sending messages, receiving messages, clearing our backlog of wishes for Diwali, and creating reels and all. But please try and cut off, because when you're looking at your phone or your laptop or even your TV, now obviously uh, earlier we used to be bothered about only your UV rays, right? UVA and whatever it is. Now, unfortunately, you have to be bothered about your blue light exposure, because that's the maximum exposure that we have, right? जैसे ही वो पड़ता है अपने आंखों पे, okay, your main clock is triggered, which triggers your organ clocks, internal clocks also. And as I said, melatonin either is suppressed or secreted. If your light is off, your melatonin is secreted, you fall off to sleep after some time. If your lights are all on, whatever the light be, your melatonin is suppressed, you're more alert, okay? And attention span is high, reaction times are higher, learning ability, etc. And if you're aligned, then all of this is at the right level, right? At the right time, your cognitive performances will be fine. But if you're light or screen time is not aligned to as per the body clock, then you're going to have a problem. Blue light, uska impact kya hai? People whose melatonin levels are suppressed and whose body clocks are thrown off by exposure light are more prone to depression. We assort to, or we actually go to phones to get solutions for our sadness, for our loneliness, for our issues that we are facing, and we continue to access the social media. Unfortunately, increased exposure to this is only going to increase your depression, and it is proven. It's not something, just a statement that is made. Over the long term, not getting enough good sleep can lead to your neurotoxin buildup, making it harder to get good sleep, quality sleep, right? Poor night sleep caused by nighttime smartphone use can make it harder to absorb and remember new information. Memory loss, short-term memory loss, confusion during daytime. Okay, it can also lead to obesity. It also messes up with the hormones that control your hunger. So again, how do you reduce your blue light? Limit screen time, enable your night mode. Please understand that even if you're in night mode and watching your mobile, it is still, your body still doesn't know that you have to go to sleep. It's not guaranteeing that melatonin secretion is going to be optimum. Switch to more warm lighting, take regular breaks, read a book, listen to music, listen to a podcast that is, what do you say, that is helping you rather than, say, for example, a crime story podcast. No, that's not something that you would listen to while going to sleep, right? Last but not the least, which Farooq was also talking about, timing of food. Food, while what we take is important, our timing of food, and especially late night cravings, because of the access to Zomatos and Swiggies, because of the access to ready-made foods, because of the access to easy to make foods or even snacks in your cupboard. What happens when you do a late night snacking or even snacking, for example? Okay, this is both, this picture will show you both late night and mid-morning snacking. Look at this. Now, when you are eating as per your day-night cycle, as per when ghrelin is secreted, ghrelin is your hunger hormone. Okay, it is secreted only 3 times a day. अगर आपने उस हिसाब से खाना खाया, then you will remain a fit person. If you have irregular eating patterns, as and when you are hungry, as and when you get access to food and all, you are going to end up into obesity. You are going to end up in physical issues, physiological issues, and diabetes, hormonal imbalances, thyroid issues. Not on day one, not in the first year, not in the second year, not when you're young and you're doing this, you will probably start seeing it, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो पहले लोग 60s और 70s में एक्सपीरियंस करते थे, अभी वी आर एक्सपीरियंसिंग इन 30s. Unfortunately, what we are now experiencing in 40s, our children, if we continue to do this and they see us doing this, they are going to experience in their 20s, and they're already doing it and seeing high cholesterol levels even in the early 20s, right? How do you avoid late night snacking? Plan your meals. You have to plan. Take some time out. Plan the timing of your meal. Plan what you're going to happen, what you're going to eat. Earlier, for me to eat at 6:30, between 6:30 to 7 in the evening, my last meal used to be very difficult. Even now, I have an alarm which rings at 6:45 that I need to eat and my dog needs to eat. Okay. Earlier, my dog used to eat a little later, but then I realized one of the pet boarding, owners, she said that even dogs need to eat on time in the morning and even in the night. So even they have a circadian rhythm. I was like, wow, great. So I kept an alarm. With that alarm rings at 6:45. I go, I have. Even if I'm not hungry, I would have it. Once you have it and make it a pattern, okay? Now, what do you have? You can't be having a high amount of carbs, because what happens with carbs is when you have a higher portion of carbs in your meals, or even if you have carbs in your meals only, then you will get that energy that you need, but that energy is going to deplete also. Your spike will come down very, very easily. फिर आपको भूख लगेगी. Actually, वो भूख नहीं है. Just your energy has gone down, but you're thinking you're hungry. Then you will want to eat something. If you can ensure you have high amount of protein and fiber in your food, in your meal plates, as compared to your other stuff, you can ensure that you will not be feeling hungry for snacking. Establish a routine. Ensure that आपका खाना उसी टाइम पे हो जाता है. Identify triggers that anything, either someone's call, either some particular show, whatever it is. What are those triggers that make you get up and want to eat, right? Are you not sleeping on time? The best way to is, बस switch off करो, कुछ सुनो, so that you don't feel hungry, right? create a relaxing bedtime routine. Of course, you can do meditation. Of course, you can have mindfulness. You can have a good bath or a shower that makes you feel a little more calm. Then you will not feel like eating as well. You want to sleep. Mindful eating, eat at the right time, understand what you're going to be eating. Snacking, of course, limit your screen time as well, because if you keep watching your mobiles, you're not going to be sleeping early. Your sleep will, get delayed till 12, 1 and all, and suddenly aapko bhook lagegi because you're awake. Get adequate sleep. Now, the best way is whenever you're feeling hungry, whether it is late night or mid morning or say mid evening, the best thing is keep water around, drink water. Okay. After 15 minutes, if you're still feeling hungry, drink some more water, because your brain cannot differentiate between hunger and thirst. Most, most likely, 90% of the time that hunger will vanish. Okay, if you can do this. If still you're feeling hungry, you can either have protein, all plant protein mixed in water along with some fiber. Okay, just a scoop of that, that should be fine. Okay, worst case, you don't have that. You can probably have cucumber or carrots, but that's worst case because that's as good as another food, right? How to regulate your circadian rhythm. Now, to keep all of this together, so what is required so that your body clock is not impacted? जब आपका body clock aligned है, okay, that it is functioning at the right time, the hormones are released at the right time, आपको क्या होगा? You will be fit. Okay, your gut health will be fine, your cardiovascular health will be fine, your muscular health will be fine, your mental, all of that will be fine. So exercise regularly, stick to a regular bedtime and wake time. हो गया अभी festivities, it was required, we require the social engagements and all. Can we come back to these routines if we have deviated? I'm sure 99% of the people would have deviated in something or the other, right? Avoid caffeine in the afternoon and evening. Avoid screen time at least 2 hours before bedtime. If you can't do 2 hours, at least 1 hour. And trust me, हमें ऐसे लगता है कि भाई कितना कुछ ठीक करना है. If we can do not just one thing, again, what we end up doing is, okay, some of the people go regularly to the gym, but they're not taking care of the other aspects. No, that doesn't work. Some people will take care of the nutrition aspect, but not taking care of walk, not taking care of exercise, not taking care of sleep or caffeine. Then again, it's not going to help. But if we can do 20% of each of these, your impact, trust me, it will be more than 50%. You'll improve more than 50% of where you are today. That's the beauty of holistic health. Avoid late night stacking and learn to manage your stress. Unfortunately, others can give guidance, but only you will know what are your stress triggers, what are your triggers to snacking. Only you will have to sit and understand that pattern. The guidance can be given, but that step needs to be taken by us, right? So that is about your different, lifestyle impacts on the body clock. मुझे जब ये इनिशियली ऐसे दिखा था, मुझे ऐसे लगा था कि भाई दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज सो डिफिकल्ट टू डू. हाउ कैन आई डू दैट विथ माय busy office work schedule? I used to work 12 to 15 hours. Trust me, and it's not a joke. I'm not just saying that for saying it, but I used to work 12 to 15 hours on a daily basis. But when you do small things repeatedly for a particular time, you start getting used to it. You have to take that deliberate action. So for that, you need to, through the time, you need to, visualize what your end goal in health is, right? Start every day with gratitude and optimism, because it's a new day. It's a chance for us to improve our lives, live happily, live a better life, and live cohesively, right? Have your nutrition, because just eating the food or just drinking the water that we are getting is not giving us all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the protein, all the macronutrients that we need. We need to have the right supplementation, right? Learn something new every day. Okay. My granny, who just completed 104 yesterday, I see her still reading the newspaper, still keeping abreast of what's happening. She's still so passionately active in terms of sharing her opinions on various aspects. Why the younger generation today is not reproducing. She's learning something new every day, and it's inspiring. Exercise daily, because someone can cook the food for you and give it to you. Okay. And of course, you have to put it in your mouth yourself and swallow it. But no one can exercise for you. So you have to do it yourself. There is no pill, Farooq says, that can help you with the exercise. We have to do it. So that's it from my side. And welcoming all of you back after the movie. So that's it. And back to you, Ruchita.
Thank you so much, Veda. And as you know, mentioned by both Farooq and Veda, we understand that it was a festival, but as long as we just keep coming back on track, I guess we'll all make it. So, with that, we come to an end of this amazing, amazing session. Thank you so much, Veda, for explaining us wonderfully. And see you in the next one. Good night. Stay safe.